Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Everybody calm down. Calm your asses down. Welcome back to the channel. New video. What's cracking? I was like, what? I missed something. The applause threw me off. Your applause threw me off. Anyhow, today's video is gonna be I don't really ever talk about this kind of stuff, right? But today I felt like it. Something happened, I guess, yesterday in one of the prisons, something serious. And I want to start by saying that I hope all of the families are okay. I know that when you have somebody, a loved one incarcerated, and you know they're on that yard, and when something serious like that happens, I can only imagine what it feels like for you. But know that everybody in there knows what they got to do, and just pray that everybody's going to be safe. All right. So anyways, I wanted to do a video on communications within those prison walls. Anytime that you have, and this is in life, right? It's not just in prison, it's in life, period. Anytime that you have an act of violence, I can't say anytime, because there are crazy people. The majority of the time, we'll just say that, the majority of times when there is an act of violence, when there's a war, whenever there's a fight, it all boils down to one thing, one simple thing: a lack of communication, breakdown of communication. Because when people can communicate, then it's easy to avoid those types of things, right? Now in prison, a lot of people know when it comes to the Mexican factions. And again, I never speak for the legends. It's not, they speak for themselves. But the Raza factions, the Raza from Northern California, Southern California, they run a very, very tight, very strict program. Let me get that out of my ear. Very tight, very strict program. They know who's going to communicate with who. They know who's going to be doing the communications. And it makes communicating a whole lot easier. In my experience in the CDC, I had to at times communicate with other groups. You have to. And when you're a businessman and you know that those, your counterparts, are good businessmen, those are the yards where money's flowing. People understand the priority of whatever faction they're representing. It's generating money. Okay. And violence kills money, kills opportunity to create more business and more money. So again, there would be times where I would have to go to other factions. Today, I'm going to be talking about communicating with the black factions on the yard. Honestly, communicating with the Kumis, and they're a wild group. They're always a little bit more wild. They're hyphy with it, right? I never once had a problem communicating with them. It was business. Hey, this is what's going on. Whoop, whoop. All right, holler at me. I'm going to go talk to this dude. Boom. And it was done. Communicating with the Bloods, most of the time ran extremely smooth. There would be two factions. Those of you that know. Um, there would be two factions, blood factions, or organizations that sometimes would make it a little. I got to talk to this dude, and then I got to talk to that dude. These two groups, even though their bloods might not get along, but still, it was always smoother. Now, the Crips, communicating with the Crips. The Crips are so big. They have so many different cars and so many different egos a lot of times, especially when you don't have OGs out there. And you're dealing with dudes that are a little younger, a little bit more ego driven. Everybody in there is ego driven, but when you have some that are a little bit more ego driven, it can make things a whole lot more difficult. I remember I used to hate having to go and discuss anything with the Crips because I would have to probably talk to 4, 5, 6 different people. When you have to talk to that many people, it's easy for lines of communication to get crossed up. You're dealing with, if I'm talking to this dude and he's representing whatever, Crip thing, the next one I talk to, they don't like each other. So it's easy to get things twisted. And it always tripped me out, because I see how in the comments sometimes people will say, man, if the blacks weren't so fractured, they would be stronger. That's a fact. Any home divided crumbles. But that said, when shit jumps in there, everybody jumps, right? But as far as communication, I'll tell you what, there was one place I was in where this one guy, and I don't think, I'm gonna say his name, C-Dog. I'm not gonna say where he's from. And this dude was smart. I don't think he was very well liked. And what he did is he created sort of like a position for himself because he happened to be a Mac rep. And this dude would stop by my door every morning when he came out. Boom, he'd come straight to my cell. Hey, what's up, man? You good? You need anything? And every night when they let him out, hey, what's up? You good? You need anything? What I didn't know until later, and I laughed about it when I found out. But what I didn't know until later is C-Dog had actually sent word amongst the various mouthpieces for the Crips that I did not want to speak to various people and that I would only speak to him and that he would deliver my messages. That was smart, man. Because like I said, I noticed there were some people that didn't like him. But since he had established this whole fallacy that I wouldn't talk to anybody but him, he had kind of like locked in a position for himself where if people wanted to get at me, they'd go through him. And I would ask him sometime like, hey, how come old boy just don't get at me? Because again, I don't want to tell, how that game telephone, when you're a kid and there's 10 people in a circle or 8 people in a circle and you whisper something in the person on your right's ear, and by the time it gets to the last person, it's a completely different thing. In prison, you can't take those chances. But luckily, messing with C-Dog, man, nothing ever bad happened. But anyhow, I just wanted to do a quick little video and let you guys know, not only in prison, but in life itself, man. Violence is just a failure to communicate, a breakdown in communication. Some people, when they don't feel they can get their point across verbally, then they do it physically. That's no good for anybody. I can't say I know how communications are now, but you see, there aren't really, with the exception of this incident that happened yesterday, which, I think anybody in the world knew something like that would have had to have happened. Won't talk about it. There's channels that have put out videos on it. Go ahead and check those out and see what they have to say about it. But again, before I go, I just want to say this, man. All the families that have loved ones on that yard and that entire facility and incarcerated within the CDC, period. I know you got to be worried when you hear about stuff like this. All you can do is say a prayer, man, because your loved one is focused. I don't care where they're from, what group, what faction, whatever. They're focused right now. And they're going to need your prayers. With that, everybody, please be safe, be smart, and tell the ones you love that you love them. I'm out.